What's up, guys? I'm Uncle Freedom, coming to you on a glorious and well-deserved day off, and today, at the end of much request, as I film this on July 14th, 2024, we all know what took place yesterday. So the question is, what do I think about this? Well, here's the thing. I don't really get paid to think about it, but I will tell you some observations. I'm not going to dive in and give this dude credit, a name, or anything because, well, he's a piece of crap that tried to hurt people. So what are my thoughts on this incident, though? It was a failure of the security perimeter. And what do I mean by that? So if you were to do an actual protection detail, basically when you would set up your perimeter for that protection detail, you own everything within that protective perimeter. That belongs to you. You are saying unequivocally that is secured. Nothing bad can happen inside of that area because it's been cleared, which is a very important point that's going to go to another one of these in just a second. But we own that, and nothing bad can happen from there. So that would mean that anything bad we were going to deal with would have to take place from outside of the perimeter for us to watch. But it was an absolute failure of a security perimeter. And not only that, even if the security perimeter failed, he should have never gotten that close. Or at the very minimum, for me as a precision rifle guy, why was there nobody already on that roof? Is an elevated position close to, with a clear line of sight to an area where we would be protecting someone. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. That I have a hard time with that because, that doesn't happen. Because if that can happen, you have a failure of your perimeter. And the thing is, people are going to say, well, he didn't come in from outside of the perimeter. That doesn't matter. If your perimeter is really good, that means that the people that are watching for long distance threats are only watching beyond your perimeter because nothing can take place because you've trusted everyone to do their job inside of the perimeter. Number two, I'm not going to sugarcoat this at all, man. Somebody just tried to assassinate a former president of the United States of America and current presidential candidate. I've seen a lot of news media outlets try to sugarcoat this, that it wasn't that bad, he wasn't severely injured, that that was being blown out of proportion. No, it's an assassination attempt. It's what it is. Like, we need to get back into the habit of calling things what they are in this country instead of not, and just beating around the bush. It was an absolute assassination attempt of a current presidential candidate and also former president. The next up, so that sniper, and this is where that whole failure of perimeter versus internal security comes into play. And there's a lot of guys that'll talk further onto that all over the internet. I've already seen them popping up that are the PSD guys and stuff like that. I am not talking about that. I am simply talking to you as a guy who has sat on perimeter detail with a precision rifle before. If I am watching an area and my job is long distance threat, right? So long distance defensive precision marksmanship, I am watching outside of our area of containment because that is where my threat will come from. It's my job to be glassing buildings that are further away and stuff like that. And the problem we run into is this dude was inside of the perimeter. So everyone that is bashing that sniper on that beautiful 300 Win Mag he had, in case you're wondering, that's what that was. People that are bashing him because he was looking around and trying to find this guy, and then he popped off of the glass and came back into it. There's a reason for that. So if I told you that the perimeter was supposed to extend 800 yards from this in all directions, you would have sniper counter sniper teams set up on all cardinal locations covering all avenues of approach or likely shot avenues that you would be watching. That is your designated sector to watch. So if I'm watching stuff 1,000 yards away because my hard perimeter is at 800 yards, if I'm watching 1,000 yards away in windows, on top of buildings, in tree lines, in trees, and I'm trying to do that, and I am zoomed in all the way because that looked like a Night Force ATACR, so possibly up into the, you know, high 20s, 30s for magnification. If I'm zoomed all the way in and I'm watching stuff at 900 yards away because I'm trying to identify threats, and then all of a sudden shooting takes place 100 and, you know, which in this case, so what was the guy, 130 yards away. So now we're talking about something that's taken place over 600 yards closer than where I am currently focused. For those of you that have never shot on high magnification before, your field of view, if you are glassing at, let's say, 28 power at 800 yards, and all of a sudden I am coming back in at 100 trying to find things, my parallax is jacked up 100%. The target is blurry because I don't have, it's not in focus because of the parallax adjustment being off. I am also at a magnification window that gives me like a 2-foot field of view at 130 yards, if that. Like, it's insanely hard. That is one of the reasons you will see on high magnification spotting scopes us having a RMR or something mounted at 12 o'clock. That is because I can find the general vicinity with that little tiny dot, and then I can drop into my glass and actually see what it is and identify what I'm trying to do. If you're at 28 magnification, glassing at 900 yards, and all of a sudden something takes place over 600 yards closer to you, you ain't finding that thing, man. You can drop down to it, and you could both eyes open it, but that's a severe mismatch in magnification. There's no way he's going to see that dude. That is the reason, if in my opinion, I wasn't there, so I'm not going to talk like I was, but in my opinion, as somebody that's been on a rifle like that, in a situation in which I may have to rapidly adjust to something that has just happened in front of me because something else broke, I have to come off that glass and kind of get a general vicinity of where I'm going and then drop back into the glass and do what I'm going to do. Because you're not going to find it searching through a 20 plus magnified optic at 100 yards. It's not going to happen. We're talking about counting the hair on, well, the hair on the non-existent dude's like face, like, because he had one of them Apache beards. We're talking about trying to count the hair on his face at that magnification, at that distance, instead of trying to identify what the hell he's doing. So he can immediately engage if he's doing his job. His job is long distance defensive marksmanship. If he's doing his long distance defensive marksmanship job and something pops off in a territory that is not his territory, because that should have been cleared and perimetered and not even possible. Yeah, he's going to have to come off glass, figure out what's going on, and then drop back into glass and make his shot. So something that came up in a video that went live on today, the 14th, where I talked about the mindset triad. And prior to this one, when I spoke about shot placement doesn't matter, I spoke to SNS activation. Yes, I know SNS activation is not the proper medical term. Somebody did actually put the proper medical term if you want to study it. But you witnessed that live. One of the ones that I saw, and I was like, all right, well, that's what SNS activation looks like, was the Secret Service agent that could not reholster her handgun. We can make fun of her, but reality of that is, that's SNS. That's lizard brain, man. Can't fit in hole. That is what took place in her. Like, that's what it looks like. Simple, mundane tasks are no longer accomplishable because your brain is doing everything but letting you do those little bitty things. So now you've witnessed it in person or on TV and live if you were watching it. Okay, so now we're going to get into some of the ones that I never thought in a million years I'd have to address or talk about this. The thought that this was a setup. Yes, I have heard this. I have heard that this was a setup by the Republican Party to set this up to make him, a hero. Man, if you've never shot precision rifle, I have news for you. The difference between clipping an ear and putting it in an eye socket is about an inch. At 130 yards, if I handed you a firearm in a live action situation and I told you to put the rifle round here in a much smaller target, but not here, that's like me putting a 1-inch pasty at 100 yards and telling you can only hit in the top right corner of it. Everything else is a failure. The likelihood of that taking place with a semi-automatic AR, it can be done, but it ain't going to be done with any real consistency, and it's damn sure not going to be done on demand. That's just fact, right? That's the reason we are talking about practical accuracy when we talk about a lot of these precision rifles. which is an MOA. That's an inch, right? So anything in that inch is good, but we're talking about something that is not just the rifles capable of quarter-inch accuracy. We are talking about a shooter rifle combination on tap, cold, quarter-inch precision. That ain't happening. That's total. That it doesn't work that way, man. That's not how ballistics and guns and human beings interact. That's not how that works. It's just ridiculous that that is actually a narrative right now. The next one makes me very sad, and that is the amount of people that I have seen comment that they wished he wouldn't have missed is sickening to me. It is absolutely sickening. Like, here's the thing. There are people I don't like in this world. But I don't know that I've ever disliked someone enough that didn't personally try to injure my children that I would wish that on. That is insane. That is the definition of just mental defect in a human being. And so, yes, if you were one of those people and you're watching my channel because you like what I present to you for preparedness information and my kind of viewpoint on things, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're one of those people that commented that you are sad that that guy missed, you need to seek out help because something's wrong with you. That is scary territory. But what it does show me is how far we have fallen as a society. We have become so comfortable and complacent and fallen so far from the values and virtues that made this country so amazing that we are willing to publicly announce after somebody attempted to take somebody's life that we are sad that it didn't work. Here's the thing, if this was Stalin or Pol Pot, if you don't know who those people are, I'm sorry, the Cambodian killing fields, if we're talking about, Hitler, okay. All right, man, yeah, I'm pretty bummed out they missed too. But Trump isn't any of those things. Like him, hate him, whatever, right? Disagree with his politics, his stance, his view on women. I don't give a shit. Nothing that dude has done, love or hate him, has risen to the level that we should wish death on him. Here's the thing. I don't like Biden at all. I am not shy about the fact that I don't like Joe Biden. I think Joe Biden is a terrible president who has damn near destroyed our economy. Yes, I know. I've already been argued with before that, he's dealing with the crap that happened because of Trump's presidency. Well, if that's the case, then that means no president ever is ever responsible for anything that happens during their term because it's because of the term before them. That's bullshit. That's not accountability. We don't do that, right? We are 100% accountable for the things that we do, decisions we make as a country. At least that's how it should be. It's not, but it's what it should be. But yeah, it shows me we've fallen pretty far as a country, and it's rather sickening to me to think that somebody politically, here's the thing, he didn't hurt them. So the politics of it are so disruptive to their brain that they would wish death on another human being. That is insane to me. And lastly, this is not a call to action video. This is an absolute tragedy. Because everybody right now, we're talking about the fact that Trump got wounded. It is a tragedy because people lost their lives that did nothing but pick a place to go to. That's a tragedy. It's a tragedy that our society failed an individual so badly that a political memeing orange man has made him so far off the edge that he was willing to sacrifice his life to try to assassinate a human being that never did anything to him personally. That's a tragedy. That is a failing of our system, just period, right? That's what that is. Love it or hate it, right? The one thing we know I'm known for here is I am uncomfortably telling you the truth. I don't care if you like it or not. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth. That is a tragedy in itself. I don't like that dude, and I will never mention his name, and you know what? He fucked around and found out. However, it's a tragedy that it got that far and nobody knew. It's also a tragedy that we would wish death on people that have never personally injured you. And even more so, it's a tragedy that we have somehow missed the fact that other people were wounded and injured and lost their lives as a result of this coward's actions. But it should serve to you as a wake-up call. As a prepared individual, this should absolutely be a wake-up call, because a line has now been crossed that cannot be stepped back over. You need to understand what that actually means. There is a line that was crossed yesterday at that rally that cannot be stepped back. That line is now gone forever. Somebody was politically motivated enough and upset enough by what is largely at this point been propagated by media, which is really terrifying, that we put so much stake into what the media says that it was able to drive an individual all the way to the point that he was willing to try to attempt to assassinate a human being and ended up killing an innocent person. That line is now broken. It is crossed, which means that the next thing that happens will be worse and more heinous. So this should be a wake-up call for those of you that didn't think you needed it or weren't fully putting the stock into being prepared that they should have. It's time for you to put some effort into being prepared. So take care of yourself, take care of each other. My prayers go out to all of the families impacted by this, because odds are even the dude that did the shooting's mama had no idea he was that jacked up, which could be a failing on her as a parent. But she lost a child nonetheless, but that's his own fault. But it's a sad day. It really, truly is. Though I do take solace in the fact that when somebody attempted to assassinate Ronald Reagan, he was seen in the hospital playing harmonica, because that dude was that's all right. I can respect that. Like him or hate him, I don't care. Politics aside, don't care. Dude was playing harmonica after they tried to kill him. So, hey. So, guys, I am Uncle Freedom. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Till next time, I'll see you later.